Hi, welcome to RCPylon.TV. I'm Don Stigall, and this video is about an airplane for a proposed RCPRO class called Warbird 80. You can go to warbird80.com or warbird80racing.com and see the rules. The basic premise of the class is that it's for airplanes with at least an 80-inch wingspan. To start with, we spec'd out a 41cc gas engine as the maximum engine. However, feedback from a number of people was that they wanted larger engines for a number of reasons. The main reason is that Hobbyco / Great Plains and Horizon both have a number of 80-inch wingspan or slightly greater airplanes that use 50cc engines. So it'll open up the field to a lot more planes if we allow the 61cc engines. There was talk about having two tiers of engine sizes, a 41cc and a 61cc. However, the general consensus from the RCPRO community and the people who are interested in the class is that they would like to use the bronze, silver, gold with breakout times to limit the speeds of the airplanes and to allow people to have slower airplanes if they want them. I'm going to finish a World Models P-51 Mustang GS double treble using a YS185DZ engine. That's a 30cc engine, but it puts out about as much power as a 40cc gas engine. I'm going to make that airplane relatively stock because I had started this airplane much earlier. It started out as a yellow Rockwell P-51 Mustang GS by the World Models, but I stripped it and I recovered it, and I was going to finish it as the Bardall Miss, not the Miss Bardall. The boat was the Miss Bardall. The airplane was actually referred to as the Bardall Miss. And I did a lot of testing with 30 to 33cc engines, including, well, actually to 35cc, including the DLE 35RA, the OS GT33, and the DLE 30, and a number of clones. This one has an OS GT33 mounted on it, and you'll see it has a header for a tune pipe, and you see a tune pipe sitting on the table here. Max Products made this tune pipe, and they also made the header. Unfortunately, David McAllister passed away, and it was a great loss to the RC community, but a lot of these products are no longer available. McCullough has picked up some of the products, but there was a lot of specific knowledge that David McAllister had about the way he did things, and I just don't think that we'll ever see the Max tune pipes for the gasoline engines in production again, which is a shame because I would like to use these headers on a different engine that I'm going to put on this airplane. Because of the move to 61cc engines, the DLE 60cc twin will be an option for the Warbird 80 airplanes. And I happen to have a DLE 60. Now, I do not have a DLE 55. I know this airplane does well with a DLE 55. And the twin engine might seem like overkill, but I created a drawing that has the GT33 DLE 30 mountings that also has markings for where the holes go for a DLE 55 and for the DLE 60 twin. What I've decided to do with this airplane is not to finish it as the Bardol Miss. I'm working on a Strega by the World Models, a Strega 40 that's getting a YS 115 FZ Warbird special engine. I had all 4 colors of the Strega, but I've sold a variety of those and I'll be getting more of them. But in coming up with color schemes for the Strega, I came to really like the color tile white scheme, and I found out that Cali Graphics had the graphics already for color tile and can scale them to any size. So what I'm going to do with this airplane is I'm going to make a filler piece out of pink foam that goes in here, and then I'm going to make a mold so that I can make fiberglass parts that'll just cover this gap. And what that will allow me to do is to put on a Reno style canopy. I have a smaller one of these, but I'm going to make fiberglass canopies for at least the color tile, the Strega, and I may do the precious metal with its kind of funky double bubble shape. And I'm going to do that so that people who are converting these airplanes can easily turn them into a Reno style airplane. After I get done making the canopies, I will strip the airplane. I've already started stripping the stabilizer, and I will cover the whole plane using 0.7 ounce cloth, and I'll either use epoxy or I'll use Olympic polyurethane that's water cleanup because it doesn't have any actual water content in it, and I've had great success with it as a bonder for the fiberglass cloth. And then I'll paint it. One of the cool things about the color tile is it doesn't have a belly pan. So what I'm going to do is make a fairing in the wing for the place where the belly pan would be. That means I don't have to mess with taking the belly pan on and off. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to mount the DLE 60 on this airplane and see how the balance feels. Right now it balances right at the front of the wing with no servos. I put the servos in the back and I can use the weight up front. Now these aluminum spinners from the World Models that are no longer made are pretty heavy. They weigh about a pound, and Dave Brown has one that's only 8 ounces. So I have some flexibility on the weight. And one of the things I had done is I had opened up the bays and taken off the little shear webs that were in it, and I'm putting in a full height balsa spar, and I'm going to take the covering entirely off the wing. And I don't like open bays on P-51s, so I'm going to cover the open bays either with 10/1000 fiberglass that's pre-molded, or else I'm going to just sheet the whole wing minus the fuselage section with 1/32 inch balsa, which will add very little weight, and it will be stronger than the fiberglass would be and less likely to collapse on me. This is going to be a fairly long-term project. I don't expect to finish it this year. If I do, I'll be surprised. I have a World Models 0 Giant Scale on hand. It's basically still in the plastic, But one thing I did was check the DLE 60 to see if it fits in the cow. And as you can see, it'll fit right in the cow, even with the mufflers. I'm sure I'll wind up putting a DLE 60 if it performs well in the P-51 in the 0. And I also have an Ultimate 27% that uses a 50cc engine, and I want to put one of these engines in the biplane. So I'm going to be doing test stand videos on this engine, measuring its performance, seeing what props run on it. You might have noticed on the P-51 that it has a 18 by 12 APC pylon racing prop. With a tuned pipe, I was getting 9,000 RPMs with that combination. Like I said, I'd really like to have these headers to use on this engine because these cylinders are the same mounting dimension on the exhaust as the DLE 30 and the GT 33. So I'm going to get busy getting this engine on the plane, and I'll show it to you in a few minutes. Through the magic of video editing, I have already mounted the big twin engine on the front, and I've drilled it for a DLE 55 in case I want to go with a more scale look of not having the jugs and the mufflers hanging out. Speaking of which, the mufflers clear the side extensions, but I can grind those off a 1/4 inch or so just for heat purposes. It won't look too bad with the jugs and the mufflers sticking out. I used OS 1-inch standoffs. They're actually considered OS 55 standoffs. And the distance from the firewall to the thrust washer is 6.75 inches, which is just about the maximum you can get with the cowl on these. It'll range anywhere from 6.25 up to 6.75. So now that I've got the engine mounted, I will go ahead and start working on various things like making the canopy insert and making the Reno style canopies, and hopefully this will be a color tile sometime within a year or so. Warbird 80 racing could be quite exciting. With the number of ARFs available for 50cc engines and airplanes that are IMAA legal, there's a lot of potential for pilots who aren't in the AMA racing scene to get involved. And a lot of the guys who have giant scale airplanes already have the trailers and stuff that you need, because on a plane like this, even though the wing can be joined at the field, it's highly recommended that the wing be fully glued together, and especially with the bigger engines, reinforced. This airplane was only designed for a 1.6 two-stroke or 1.8 four-stroke, so it's going to be plenty fast, and I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with Warbird 80. If you have any interest in it, check out the Warbird 80 page on Facebook and leave messages. The only way racing classes get developed is for people to have input and people to get ideas from others. I hope I've given you a few, and thanks for watching.